Welcome to part 4 of the Refex presentation. Refreshable Excel workbook generated from a stored procedure on Dynamics GP data. We have created a refreshable table in Excel that draws information from this stored procedure in Dynamics GP. We went through the process of assigning values to each one of the 32 parameters so that Excel could give us some data to look at. But to make this really useful, we're going to fill in the Parameters tab and show you how to link the parameters to the table, so that when we change the parameters and refresh the data, boom, our table is refreshed too. Alright, the first parameter we have, the aging date, we've already set that. I'm going to leave it at 229 for now. And I'm going to start putting them in. Now, we have them numbered over here. We've got the stored procedure still in view. So I'm going to put customer number, customer name, class ID, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to copy and paste from a sheet that I've already worked on and created that has all the names. Here are all of the parameters that have start and end pieces. Customer number all the way down through transaction date. And actually, I'm going to move this down. All of these guys, move them down to this point, because I want to have a start and an end column, right? Make that a little wider. Okay, so those are the parameters that have start and end dates. And I'm going to make a notation over here that this is 15 characters long, and this is based on the customer number in our stored procedure. It says that the length is 15 characters. Same thing for the customer name is 65 characters long, and the class ID is also 15 characters. Alright, I have all this typed in my template so that you don't have to watch me type laboriously to get all the links of these fields. And then finally, the transaction date. I'm going to put a note here from my template, and this is a note to whoever is using the spreadsheet that we're going to set the ending date to be the same as the aging date. Okay. Now there's a bunch of other parameters that have single parameters. Most of them are zeros and ones, meaning no or yes, and there is one that has a value 0, 1, or 2. So on our parameters page, we're going to explain what each of these parameters is and what the numbers mean. So the first one is the date to age by, or I should put, let's call that date type to age by. Okay, and then we have which balance types, and we've got some excludes, exclude, no activity. Okay, so these are based on the numbers over here. So exclude no activity is from this parameter right here. Exclude no activity. Again, I've got this all created ahead of time so that we can cut down on the amount of typing here. But there's all our parameters. We got start and end parameters for each one of these, and then these parameters have just a single value. And I'm going to explain the single values by typing in 1 equals document date, 0 equals GL posting date, right? Here, the which balance types, I explained that there were three different balance types. 0 means both of them, and 1 means open, and 2 means balance forward. All right, so just whoever's using this, they can quickly see what's what. Again, I'm going to copy in the stuff that I've created ahead of time so that we're a little more efficient here. Okay, I'm going to do a little formatting of these cells too, so they're a little easier to see. I'm going to put in a light yellow color for the background for each of these cells, and we're going to put a thin border around each of the cells too, so they stand out a little bit more. We'll increase the font size, blah blah. So what I'm going to do is copy in the formatted cells from my template worksheet so that it's all finished. All right, I'm not too worried about that because I'm copying from version 2013 into 2010. This here is the cell that I want to be the same as the aging date. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to point to the aging date there. So normally, if we change the date up here, it will synchronize the transaction date. Okay. So we have when we made the table on the HATB tab, we used February 1st as the aging date. Here we're going to use, let's say, March 1st instead. You're probably wondering about these guys here. Those characters are found in the stored procedure itself. There is a section of the stored procedure that says if the customer number is empty, there's nothing in it, then set the ending customer number to this. That is a very high ASCII value beyond the alphanumeric characters, and why GP figured that it was necessary to put in characters that far, maybe with foreign editions possibly, but that's fairly high up in the ASCII sequence. That's what that is. So okay, I copied strings of those values into the Excel workbook here. You don't normally have to mess with those. And what I have done here is, what I want to do rather, is create a range of cells that we can collapse. And we collapse the range of cells or range of rows in Excel by going to the Formulas tab and choosing Groups. The Data tab, and choosing Group. So that means that I can collapse that region. When we save the workbook, we'll have a couple collapsing regions, and they will include these guys. Right there, I'll make another group there so that you can set some parameters as defaults and then collapse this up so that the user isn't overwhelmed with the choices. But these yes/no values here do have a bearing on the data that's returned from the query. Okay, we're getting to the end of this section. Our next segment, I'll show you how to connect the values in these parameter fields here to the query itself, so that Excel knows which parameters go with which, so that we can refresh the table properly.